Good evening. I'm Ken Brown, CEO of Destiny Global, and welcome to this edition of Success Tips. That is a mouthful, isn't it? Success Tips. Why do we do this? Because we want to help you get skilled to succeed in every area of your life. Tonight, we're going to be continuing our talks on the laws. And this specific night, we're going to be talking about the law of action. We had been talking a lot about, and by the way, this is a hugely requested topic. How do I get started? That is the law of action. It's really the first thing that you have to do regardless of what part of life you're in. When you're trying to solve something, you have to take action towards it. Whether it start off with a plan, how you're going to get something done. Every single thing that you do starts off with a decision, then followed quickly by action. Because you know what? If you don't get started, the opposite of action is procrastination. And procrastination is a killer of momentum. It's a killer of business. It's a killer of relationships because you don't put this self out there. You allow self-doubt and inexperiences or fear of the past come up and actually disable you and slow down your success for your future. So I really want you to think about that for a moment. So do you want the things of your past to slow you down from your future because you're dragging this ball and chain around mentally with you where you're going, because that's all it is. It's literally your mindset. And so the law of action comes directly against procrastination. Why? Because when you make the decision you're going to do something, whether it be starting a new business, mending a relationship, getting a new relationship, or whether you're trying to work through some emotional issue of the past, whatever it is, you have to get started. And you start right after you make that decision. Right after you make the decision on whatever that decision is, get busy, okay? Get busy solving whatever that is that you're trying to accomplish. And very specifically, the law of action, this organization has taught on this so many times. Danny, Carmen, Jackie, and actually Hans Johnson himself talking about how to get yourself into action when you're talking about investing. So many people just get frozen in the market, or the market's going down, it's going up. It's always doing something. It's never standing still. The stock market, it's either up or down or going in between, but it's the long-term things that you're investing for. If you're looking at it every day, you're probably going to be going crazy. Right now, the market's not doing so good because everybody's worried about the economy. So one of the things to combat that is to take action, and that is study things. Understand what you're going to do, right? We've talked about that in one of the earlier laws. It's where you're really figuring out your vision and your plan for your future. So once you make a decision on whether it's in your life, whether it's your relationships again, or in really looking at your past and taking those limiting beliefs off yourself, that still requires action. That requires you looking at yourself and creating that breakthrough, right? That's why we give you these tools. That's why I'm talking to you right now. I want you to be outrageously successful. So let's just jump in. So the most valued thing on earth is time. Did you hear me? The most valued thing on earth is time. And it is the least managed, most important thing that we have by most people. It's usually managed very poorly. We waste so much time as humans, not realizing, because you don't ever want to think about, well, my clock's going to expire. By the way, we're all born, we're all going to die, right? That's the way it is. So you have a time in between your birth and the day that you're called home to live the fullest, and every moment of that has a purpose. Sometimes it's for rest, sometimes it's for action, sometimes it's for fun, all of those things. But using that time wisely is so important. We have many teachings here. Carmen does a teaching on time management that is so important. Why? Because it helps you structure your day. But within that is all about taking action to create the future you want. And each one of that habits, regardless if you're wildly successful or if you're just getting started, each one of us still have action steps we have to take. I had to take action to plan to come in here and film this for you, to be here with you right now. I had to decide I was going to do that. That required action. It requires effort. You have to put forth effort, and you have to believe that you can do it, okay? Core belief in self is you can do it. So maybe people in the past have told you you can't do something. I'm here to tell you you can do anything you put your mind to do. You may have to find resources to help you get there. You may have to, search out different tools and a mentor and a coach to get you there, but that's okay. You can still accomplish anything that you want in your life. It's just up to you to get it in an action plan and execute on it. So there's many ways that people begin to take action, and there's 1,000 different roads to success. There literally is. You can go back and look at the person that invented the light bulb. You can go back and look at Benjamin Franklin, look at Thomas Edison, look at Mozart. All these people approached solving something very differently or creating something amazing very differently. But one thing they all started with was a belief that they could do it, and against opposition. Probably no one greater than that in American history is Abraham Lincoln. Always told that he couldn't do anything. Always told he couldn't do anything, right? He had massive failure after failure after failure after failure after failure. Yet he kept with it and became the most prolific and one of the most quoted people in the history of the United States and really around the world, and changed the face of our country for the better because he had a belief. He believed that all people were created equal. Right? And I'm of the same belief that you're created equal. You're no Elon Musk or Bill Gates, any of these people you're talking about, you are just as equipped. It's just you haven't put things into action to create create what you want for your future. So when you think about it, and by the way, success can be defined differently. Sometimes it's in relationships. A lot of times it's in relationships, or it should be, because you can gain all the wealth you want and still squander your personal life and walk away being a very disappointed human with your life. Money does not solve all problems unless it's used wisely, and in that sometimes that's used to get help, right? Some of you need to invest in yourself to get more skills. It's just a matter of fact. You don't have the skill to do everything that you need, right? So you're going to see more and more trainings that we're doing to help you get those skills. Jackie and Carmen are doing trainings. In fact, there was one that's kicking off. And it is so important, and she's doing it right. She's actually doing it right now. It's in progress right now. It's called Project Limitless. She is just pouring into that. Jackie's doing one on passion, taking your passion and turn it into profit. Why are these things important? Because it's an investment you're making in yourself to get the skill to get the life you want. Tonight, I want to talk, very specifically about getting yourself prepared during this difficult time. Why? You're seeing the economy shaken up. You're seeing worry start hitting people. You're seeing the market react very negatively. We've got all this stuff going on in the Ukraine. We've got negativity in the States. We've got baby food shortages. We have all these things that are creating chaos, which creates unsettled spirits. Okay? And where there's unsettled spirits, there can begin to be a sense of selfishness, or just looking for self. Remember, love overcomes all things, and love is what conquers fear, right? The spirit of fear is conquered through love. So love what you're doing, love those around you, and pour into it. And love requires action. So the first person I want you to love is yourself. Yes, yourself. I want you to begin to take action to prepare for the difficult times that are here. Are you investing in your future? Are you setting part of your budget aside? Are you taking action for your future? Are you setting something aside to make sure that you've got something in the bank if the economy continues to go in the wrong direction? We're seeing interest rates rise. You're seeing shortages in homes. You're seeing shortage of workers. All this news that's supposedly bad. What are you doing to take where there is problems, there is massive opportunity. That is where you step in and use your skills to help solve someone's problem. Because if you help solve their problem, they're going to pay you. That's called sales, see? And how you start off with that is, well, Ken, I don't know where to start. Remember, we teach this whole process called form, right? You go in and you start honoring people where they're at. And as you honor them using this very simple tool that so often is not used, we go in and just talk about what we want to talk about instead of getting to know the person that we're going to be potentially selling to, or prospect as we call them, and getting to know them and their needs and their wants, and building rapport with them so that they have trust with you. See, people are not going to buy from you unless they trust you. They have to know you, they have to like you, they're going to have to trust you, and then they'll buy from you. It's the process, it's just the way it is. The more formal way, as we call that, it's attract, acclimate, acquire, and making them an advocate. And the last part is so important because when you take care of someone and you form them and you get to know them, you build a relationship with them. And then when you deliver on your promises, it makes them want to tell everybody else about you. So the law of action is so important, but it's the first step in creating the successful future you want. In business, let's talk about relationships for a moment. Some of you have marriages that can be stronger and should be stronger, right? Because you're going into a troubled time. Listen to me. Troubled times put stress on marriage because sometimes there's the conversations that don't happen are the ones that create the biggest gaps, misalignment between the husband and wife. Why? Because one is continuing to spend and the other one doesn't like that. Or they're not aligned on what you're spending on. So sit down and have those conversations about your future. Sit down and start really carving out part of your budget to create that nest egg, that safety net that you have to take care of yourself. Being prudent, preparing, looking ahead. You know, in the greatest book that ever is written, it tells us that we need to look ahead. The wise man takes counsel and prepares for the future. So I'm really challenging you right now during this difficult season. Things are going a little nuts out there. Prepare for it. Don't fall into the procrastination thing. Well, I don't know what to do. Or, you know, even on the other side of it, in the relationship side of it, let alone the business or market, think about your personal relationships when you let these things build up in you. It does not create closeness and unity where you can actually do that and come into complete alignment with your spouse and actually know what you're spending on and have agreement on that. And in that agreement, at the end of the day, you find closeness and intimacy because you communicated about the things that you hadn't been talking about before that were causing stress. When you alleviate stress and you create and replace stress with joy, oh my goodness, there is such freedom in your relationships. April and I had to learn this. Right? I was just so driven in my past in business that if we were short in something, I'd go make more money. You hear Danny talk about Hans doing that, or even Danny herself doing it. We needed something, we're just going to go make more money. That's exactly my mindset. I'm just going to go make more money. And that sometimes came fairly easy. Sometimes it was more difficult. But nonetheless, I always pushed to do that and typically succeeded. The problem is we weren't aligned on the spending side. And that would cause massive issues. And the law of action requires me, if I want my marriage to be better, if I wanted to be in alignment with my wife, I would have to take action and say, you know what, I'm going to solve this problem. I'm going to sit down with her and I'm going to work through this. That took action. It took an action because I wanted to solve something. So when you're taking action, what are you solving? What are you working to solve? Make sure that is where you've aligned your vision, right? The problems you're going to go solve. Align yourself and put all of your efforts, all of your focus, because what you focus on will grow. Stop focusing and procrastinating on all this other stuff that is distracting you. And I will be the first to admit right now, the biggest killer of taking action is all the activity around you where people look like they have the perfect lives on Facebook because you're only getting one picture of it. You're only getting one side of the life. You're getting all the highlight reels. Carmen talked about this at the last First Steps. All the highlight reels of their life is listed over here. They don't list all the problems and tell you over here. And so you're doing comparison, which is a killer for people trying to take action because I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right, or it's not going to be perfect like theirs or this or that. Stop it. Just get started in the processes and ways you know how. And dig in. If you don't have this skill, plug in. We have numerous resources to help you from LifeMap, and there's tons of free stuff as well. It's not just all the products we have. We have a ton of stuff just like this. If you will just step in and begin to think through what I'm telling you, I promise you, you will have results. Why? I'm not guessing at this. I know for a 100% fact your life will be better. Your relationships will be better. You will earn more money. This law, all the laws are important, but folks, if you do not implement this one law, you will go nowhere. The best laid out plan without action is nothing. And there are people with shelves full of them. I can take you to corporations where on their shelves are all these plans that were never, ever executed because somewhere someone had doubt and did not allocate resources, mental time, and capacity to go do it. Now, those individuals that did, you read about them in the Wall Street Journal and paper because they implement, they change things. They create dynamics in the industry that didn't exist before. You know all their names. But some of them are smaller. Some people have figured out how to help you exercise more efficiently. Some people have figured out how to take care of the lawns faster. Some people, it doesn't have to be gigantic world changing, okay? It's something that you can do as well or better than anyone else in the world. And it can be the most simple thing. We have someone down here, they make bread. When they make bread, my mouth starts watering just hearing about it. I'm like Pavlov's dog. They just like to ring this bell. Oh, she's making bread. My mouth starts watering. Why? Because her bread is so flippin' good. Okay? It's just, no matter what you do, and quit minimizing it. Do it to the best of your ability. Whether you're a landscaper, whether you're an accountant, kill it. Figure out how to get more efficient. Use job domination. Plug people into your program so that you can do it. And when you're working on building your business, don't forget to include other people. People help you succeed, right? Again, the greatest book ever written, helpers help a business succeed, right? Commit your works to the Lord and He will establish your steps. Commit yourself to success. And it starts off with the word action, okay? Give yourself, and yes, sometimes you're going to run against the wall and I might fail, so what? If you didn't do anything, you're absolutely going to fail. Did you ever think about that? If you do nothing, you will absolutely fail. Because you failed to try to fulfill your dreams. So I'm encouraging you this day. I want you to step up and step out and start taking action towards your dreams. I want you to start taking action towards your business goals. I want you, and the first step is, again, using form to contact people. Regardless of what product you're selling or service you're trying to do, get to know the person. Maybe they're not the fit, maybe they are, but get to know them, right? Don't start off trying to sell your product first. Oh, I got this wonderful thing that's going to solve all your problems right here. Don't do that, because immediately they're going to turn you off. You know why? Because it sounds like a used car salesman from 1970, right? By the way, bell-bottom pants are coming back. If you didn't see that, we're going back to the 70s. So maybe that would work then, but it does not work now because the thought process is, how is that going to help me? And if I don't know you, people aren't going to do it. How has that happened? Because we have a proliferation of information that we didn't have back then. Behaviors have changed, and buying behaviors change all the time. By the way, those same behaviors affect you in your home because you're being marketed to and programmed to. Some of you need to take action to get healthy. April and I are doing that right now. We're going through a program. Coach Carmen is coaching us through it. And it is getting us in the right place, in the right mindset, and feeling better, having more energy. Just so many wonderful things. But let me tell you something. It required action on our part. We had to do something. You couldn't sit there and say, oh, no, I'm just going to be fit and healthy, and I'm going to do nothing. That's not how it works at all. You have to commit and step into it, start taking action towards being healthy. And I'm telling you this because every area of your life requires action. And if you don't, you're going to become unbalanced. Unbalanced. It's a very powerful part of this is when you're not taking action in some part of your life that really requires it. So you go work and you start making all this money. I'm that person, but I wasn't caring for the other side. My health and paying as much attention to my family as I needed to, right? And if you looked from the outside and even compared to other people, we were probably doing great in their mind, but not for what we needed, not for what my wife needed, not for what my children needed, and not what I expected of myself. So I had to take action to change that. For me and for April, it started at First Steps. And it started off with really gems and knowing one another and know thyself. Know where my shortcomings are, know how I'm wired, and begin to understand how other people are wired. And then helping them create success for their lives. And when you do that, whether you're selling a software program, whether you're selling coaching, whether you're selling counseling, whether you're selling going to help people get healthy, everything that you sell is intended to solve some problem or help somebody do something more efficiently. Make sure that you know what that person is looking for. When you do, you're going to help them become wildly successful. And you, my friend, will be wildly successful. So remember, there is no greater law than the law of action. You can have all the other laws that we talked about, but if you're not stepping into the law of action, you're actually cutting yourself dramatically short and you're not going to fulfill your future. So today I encourage you to start taking action on your life. And thank you for joining this evening. I look so forward. We're going to have our live first steps in person July 29th through the 31st in Pensacola, Florida. We have limited spots and they are filling. I'm so thankful for you. For those of you that have signed up, thank you so much. If you haven't, we have limited space. Get your tickets now. And we have a room block that's been set aside as well for under $200 a night in Pensacola in July. So I look forward to seeing you soon and have a wonderful evening.